Yes, I am a brand new member of the Central Florida Hotel and Lodging Association. Although my hotels are not in Central Florida, they're on the other side, they're on the East Coast. We're in Daytona. I have two properties there and a few in New York. I'm an investor in a few in New York and Massachusetts. But I live here, I live in Maitland, and I want to support you guys and support the entire industry. And I said, you know what? We're all hurting right now. This is an opportunity for me to share. And I've been sharing on social media, especially LinkedIn, for the last 7+ years now. I've been on LinkedIn for 10 years, but the last 7 years, I've been really posting almost every single day. And recently, I started this brand new journey of sharing leadership, marketing, and sales, and a bunch of other things on LinkedIn. So definitely join me there. My direct link there is rupeshlive.com. And every Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning, I host a show. So I'm super excited to be a part of your organization and continue supporting you guys, because I think it's powerful when you have a voice in the industry and locally to help you guide us through all that's going on right now, because it's tough. And I've been in that same situation you are, where one day might be good and then the next day might be bad, but there is some good news. You know, Daytona and the beaches opened this past weekend, which has been awesome. I actually went, my family went with me. We social distance and we had a great time. But the best news is yesterday, which was Monday, we actually ran 95% occupancy in Daytona at one of our properties, and I think 60 or 70% at the other property. So it's exciting times that when things open up, it's going to be good for all of us. So I'm excited for you guys, for the parks to open up and the attractions to open up, because guess what? That's going to drive traffic to your hotel. And when you drive traffic, guess what? You always have to have that thing that they call service and hospitality. That's what we're going to talk about. So 5 creative ways. And when Aaron said, hey, can you come on the show and kind of share some ideas and some strategies? I was like, yeah, I'll share a few things. I'll share 5 things. But after working on this presentation, I'm like, oh, I created 20 things. So guys, you're in you're in luck today. I'm going to share probably 20 things that can help you improve your guest service scores and attract new guests right now. So let's get right into it. And let me make sure this is working properly. All right, there you go. All right, so I don't know if a lot of you, I've been here in Central Florida since the 90s, and I don't know if you remember, many of you do remember, that back in 2001, after 9/11, 2002, we saw similar, business in Central Florida, and it was dead. I remember going to downtown Disney and looking around like, where is everybody? And it was scary because, they would have part of the location shut down, or hotels were shutting down their entire floors. And this also happened in 2008, right? And 2009 and subsequent days after that, or years after that, just to come back up. So one thing that I remember that always happened was we remained guest focused, right? We remained focused just with those few people that were staying at our hotel. We were still focused on our service. And that's what made hotels that were focused on service the top hotels in the market. And because guests shared them and talked about them, right? And so guest service is always going to remain a constant, no matter what you do. Great service is always going to remain a constant. And look into my notes because I want to make sure I cover everything. I met a lot of you guys during the Heat show last year, where I actually did piggyback to you guys, Central Florida Hotel Lodging Association, and did a event right after you guys at the Gaylord Palm. So I met a lot of you. I understand what you're going through. And right now, everybody's kind of going through the same thing, right? We're waiting for our guests to come in. And this is the perfect time for you to understand and learn these things. And a lot of these things your hotels are already doing, but some of these things might be new. So I always tell my kids, learn one thing. If you learn anything, just learn one thing after I drop them off at school. So continue learning and learn these topics. All right, so let's get into it. So today I'm going to show you how to offer exceptional service, how to wow your guests with a few tools that you may be using, but most of you are probably not using, and just customer service tools that are going to be changing the way the industry moves forward, especially after right now and after we're going through and what we've been through, right, these last few months. And at the end, I'm going to have a free guide for you. It's a free GM checklist. Over 35,000 people have viewed this document in the last 2 weeks, and you can too. So I'm going to share that at the end. So let's continue. And if you have any questions, please save those to the end. I'm happy to share and answer those questions. So, all right, here we go. All right, so did you know 77% of customers would recommend a brand like a hotel to a friend after having a single positive experience? So if they're having a good experience at your hotel, guess what? They might tell up to 15 people, which is awesome, right? And now with social media, and TripAdvisor and some of these review sites, it's even larger, right? So definitely keep that in mind when you're thinking about customer service and you're thinking about that guest service at your hotel. Like, is everybody at your property caring? Is everybody going above and beyond? Are you doing those things that make a connection with your guests? And that's what you kind of have to consider right now when things are slow. Like, how can we ramp up this one thing called service, right? And we've done this at our properties, and I travel the world in the United States doing this for other hotels. So I'm happy to do this and share this with you. All right, so there's 3 steps in the guest service experience, and it's the and I like to put it into 3 steps because it's easy to kind of put them together and focus on them, especially if you're gonna bring this back to your property and share this with the entire team, which I recommend. All right, so the first one is pre-stay. What are you doing to inform and anticipate the guest's needs, right? The second is during, right? You have low occupancy. That means there's a better chance of engagement, which I love right now. Like, you have the perfect opportunity to make a difference in a few people's experiences, right? You know, we're back in the day when we were busy last year, we were running 90, 100% occupancy. Many of us here in Central Florida, it was hard to connect with every single guest out there and make sure that you understand how they're feeling, understand how they have stayed at your hotel, and just learn about their experience, right? This is the perfect opportunity. So we're going to get into that. And then post is huge for returning guests. And then, like I said earlier, talking about them with their friends and family. That's what we want. We want to continue that conversation. Let's get right in it. Service is not canceled, right? That's the topic. That's the title. And I believe in it, right? Please don't cancel your service. You might have canceled a lot of things. We've canceled and paused a lot of things. We said, listen, we're instead of getting the garbage to come pick up every week or 3 times a week, we're going to pick it up, change it to 1. We did a lot of things to kind of cut down. You might have called your power company. You might have called Spectrum if you're using Spectrum for cable, internet, phones, and they've been helpful and helping you either pause or cancel some subscriptions. Like, you might not get newspapers anymore, right? You might go to digital. So there's a lot of things that we did cancel, but there's one thing that we didn't do is service, right? One thing I want to talk about is I'm a big music fan, and I noticed that I walk into my hotel and there's music in the lobby. And I love that. And guess what? Guests love that too. That's another thing I did not cancel. So service and music, we are not canceling because it's a huge part of how people feel when they walk into your lobby, right? Anybody agree? Comment, let me know. All right, so the pre-stay is super important. I talked about this yesterday on a live show, a national live show, and it was super, super important that we make the message and the marketing before they even come to your property. And this is all a part of the customer service experience, right? It's not just having people at your property, you can offer good service. It's also the experience of booking. If you notice right now, a lot of people are dreaming about where they are going to go in the future, and they're shopping online and they're doing all these different things. And this is a great opportunity for us to message and position ourselves properly. And I'm going to go through the way. Sorry. All right. Consider what potential guests are searching for your hotel, right? What they're searching for. Are they searching for like clean rooms in Orlando or sanitized rooms? I mean, you have to look for keywords. So if you go to the keyword planner inside of Google, it's free. If you have a Gmail account, you go open up a Google Analytics thing and find out what hotels or what people are searching for your hotel in a keyword, right, setting. All right, so update your listings. We're going to talk about that. Chat and bots are a huge thing. Update your FAQs on your website, which is huge. Like, people are asking questions right now that are different than last year, right? And that's all part of the customer service experience and the booking experience, right? And that's what we're talking about, the pre part of it, because it's super important that you do these things now to attract and to convert people into booking at your hotel. And right now we're slow. Hotels might be closed. Hotels might be running 1% occupancy or just a few people. This is a time to focus on this stuff while you have the chance. Because guess what? When the doors open up, the floodgates open up, you might not have this chance later. All right, and also views video as an experience and feeling. So we're gonna go through some of these things. All right, so the first one, like I talked about, people are dreaming. I'm sure you're dreaming about where your next vacation is gonna be, or how do you get out of this? You might be a GM there working 10 hours a day, 15 hours a day. You might be working a shift, right? There might be a lot of things that you're doing, but you're also thinking of like, you know, one day when I get my vacation or when I get back to my staff coming on board, I'm going to take a week off because I've worked my butt off, and I'm going to be dreaming. I'm going to search. I'm going to plan all these different things, and people are doing this right now. My wife's doing it. I'm not sure if you guys are doing it, your spouse or coworker is doing. People are planning and dreaming, and this is a perfect opportunity. Remember, we talked about the part of the pre-stay, right? All right, so we're talking about chat. We're talking about different ways of the pre-stay experience, and two things I love right now, and I highly recommend. A lot of things are going to change, but the top things that are going to change is technology in the hotels, and then also the cleanliness of the hotels. We're not going to get too much into the cleanliness because it's all over the place, and we're coming together right now. And I think Central Florida Hotel Lodging Association is coming up with a kind of a guideline of what you can do based on different industry standards and some of the CDC guidelines. So I talked to Erin earlier this morning, and she was saying that they're putting that together, which is awesome because there's not a lot of associations out there that are doing these things for their members. And I commend Erin and the team out there, Rich, for doing these things because, hey, we all need to learn, and we don't have that resource that you can go to, especially if you're a non-branded hotel, right? So this is going to be a great example for you guys. But when we're talking about messaging, this is a perfect opportunity to include technology into your website, right? And make it easy, make that experience, that customer service experience awesome, right? Two things I recommend for your website right now is a chat bot. And I'm not sure if you know what a chat bot is, but it's using AI, artificial intelligence. You put this code into your website, and it pops up saying, hey, do you have a question? Do you have a comment that you want to leave for us? And are you looking at booking? And this chatbot, and I recommend Ask Suite. I have no affiliation with them, just friends, and I've known them for quite some time. They will have this chatbot on your website, and it starts answering questions and asking, making sure that feedback is a great experience when you're thinking about booking at a certain hotel, right? And then live chat is huge. Think about this: if you're searching a hotel and you're like, let me ask a question about this specific thing, or how many people are actually going to be in the pool when my family's in it. I'm kind of worried about that, right? When you have live chat on your website, it's an amazing way for somebody at the property to connect. And it's all web-based and browser-based. So you could be anywhere. You could be sleeping and get a ping at night, which I don't recommend, but you're going to definitely pass this on to whoever's working the night shift. And the night audit, maybe they answer them in the middle of the night, or as they come in, different people on your team answer these questions. And it's amazing to be connected with somebody, right? There's a higher chance of that guest booking with you if you can provide direct, personalized responses and answers to their questions, which is amazing because you can have a flat FAQ page, but guess what? If you had live chat, it makes it so much better. So two things I definitely recommend for your website right now to start that great pre-stay customer service experience is the chatbot, which is automated through AI, and then live chat through somebody at your property that's connecting with the guest or that potential guest and answering questions. It's huge. It's a huge opportunity, right? Comment, let me know if you're already using it, what tool you use, because we would love to learn, right? All right. So the next thing, or I'm going to step back a little bit. We talked about video. Let me go back to video. Now, I talked about this yesterday in another show. I said, listen, video is the biggest part. You're watching video right now, right? I didn't write this as an article in words. We're talking about video, which is huge right now. I mean, YouTube's been the biggest search engine for a long time, and it just continues getting bigger. And now you see on LinkedIn, social media, people are going live, right? Why aren't we using this technology into our hotels? So a perfect example of video would be, and this is pre-experience, right? Your hotel is show what's going on and how you converted your hotel to be safe and secure for that family or that individual travel or that group of people that are coming in, and share videos of, show the entire experience. Hey, I'm the front desk manager here. And I could be like, hey, record me. I'm the front desk manager here. Welcome to my hotel. Here's what we've done to make sure that your family and friends are going to be safe at a hotel. We've done this, that, we showed different parts. Here's the experience when you walk into our hotel. I love that part of the business where you can share ideas and really connect with somebody through video. This is what we're doing right now. So you can create a YouTube channel. You can put videos on your own website. There's so many different things that you can do to market yourself on YouTube, or use video as a platform to share your customer service stories, share videos of testimonials. There's so many different things I love right now that you can, after COVID, you can show what you've done to change your hotel in this format, right? So let me know if you guys have a tip on that too, because it's super important. A lot of hotels are doing it. A lot of big hotels and a lot of small hotels are doing it too. I love it. It's very easy. Guess what? I use my cell phone for every video you see on social media. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll notice that I post a lot of videos about all of these topics. I use my iPhone, and you don't need to spend a ton of money right now. Be Do it really grassroots and really just do it like, come up with a game plan, right? That's what I would recommend. Maybe top 5 videos of your hotel. There's a lot of things you can do right now with video. Happy to share more if you have any questions at the end. All right, so next we're going to the during, right? During's huge because that's when you have that one-on-one, that first experience that when they walk into the door, you have to wow them, right? And let me make sure I have all my notes here. All right, I'm gonna make sure we have our notes. All right, so low occupancy, which is happening right now, means high engagement. That means we're really connecting and understanding what our guests are going through. The arrival experience is going to be huge for all of us, right? Are you making a great first impression, or is your front desk sitting behind the desk on their chair, just like thinking, reading, or texting, or whatever? Or are they standing up as soon as people walk up, or are they standing the entire time and welcoming guests? Like, welcome, Mr. Smith. Thank you so much for staying here at our hotel. Have you been to Orlando before, right? These different experiences that people really appreciate. And right now it's slow, so might as well really connect with people and recognize them. And empathy is a huge thing, like understanding how people feel, how they got here, what was their journey, did they drive in or did they fly in? You want to understand all those things so you can keep note of it as you know what kind of business is coming in, and kind of focus your marketing and your message and your service based on those kind of people, right? If you know mostly people are in Orlando or staying at your hotel, guess what? You're going to message them totally different. You might do that staycation that you might be marketing on social media, or your Google ads, or different ads across the channel that you're already working on. You're going to shift those, right? Messaging is going to be a huge part of it too. And this is all during, and I'm going to get to a lot of these, especially that local favorites, which I love, right? All right, so the arrival experience is huge, right? What are you doing? And I created this 17. If you want me, send me a message later. I will send you a list of 17 questions every front desk staff must ask, right? If you are at the front desk at your hotel, you must ask at least a few of these questions to make a connection, break the ice with guests. And a lot of times you're just sitting at the hotel and you're checking in and you're like, credit card, ID, and then there's no conversation. But if you understand where they came from, like, did they just drive from Miami up here and they're staying because they are excited that Disney opened back up? You can ask these questions and make them feel really good. Build that connection, because guess what? You're going to be asking for something later. Now I'm gonna get to that, but ask those questions, and it's huge that you can ask, like, Mr. Smith, where are you coming from? And Mrs. Robinson, welcome to Orlando. Is this your first time here? And all these questions matter, right? Questions and connections matter right now. And it's that feeling that guests get that will attract other guests, and they will tell other people. And I love that experience about customer service in your hotel right now. So if you aren't doing this, definitely get to a point where every front desk associate, or actually any associate, is asking a few questions instead of just like, thanks for staying with us, right? Get some feedback for them, understand them, use empathy. Like, I understand, I totally, and I wrote these down. Some of the words really matter right now, right? You can say, I can understand how you feel. I can also say, is there anything else I can do for you? And then get their permission. Mr. Smith, is it okay if I message you in 10 minutes just to make sure everything in your room has met your expectations, right? I love that you could ask questions and get their buy-in from this entire thing, because it's huge, right? All right, like, next thing, I love this. We've been using this for more than 7 years. My hotels use it. And how do you recognize guests, right? You might be a branded hotel or independent hotel. This is a perfect opportunity for you to, really make them happy. And this is something that I came up with. This is actually my website. I have another website called smartguests.com, and we provide a lot of print and collateral for hotels. And we do a lot of cool things like this. Like, when's the last time you stayed at a hotel and you got a customized candy bar that welcomed you to the hotel, right? More than, I think, over 1,200 hotels nationwide now use this. But this is amazing that you can really connect with that guest, recognize them, and this is a simple tool that we create a PDF, send it to you, and you get to type the guest name in and welcome them. If it's a group, welcome the entire group. If it's a corporate group, guess what? You're happy to have them in. You're happy that they're staying with you, right? There's a lot of cool things that you could do just by recognizing that guest and making them feel special, right? And this could even be left in the room, right? So you might be wearing gloves, making these in the morning as your arrival list, but then really leaving them in the room if you've already assigned the room. I love that part where you can really make them and wow them. Like, People have posted reviews about this one little thing on our TripAdvisor, our different OTA websites. They've talked about it on their social media. Like, they'll take a picture. We actually, in the past, I'm not sure if this is a good example right now to be giving these out at the front desk. Maybe if you're wearing gloves and really thanking them, or maybe putting this in a bag and thanking them, like, Mr. Smith, thank you so much for staying with us. We really appreciate you staying with us. And you know, we have a lot of you have a lot of options, but we appreciate you staying with us. Guests love it. All right, the next thing is messaging. This is going to be a huge part of the way you're going to communicate and share that customer service experience with your guests, right? All right, so touchless customer service is going to be the thing of the future. If it already has, I mean, a lot of hotels already use it. There's a lot of hotels here in Orlando that use it, that I stay at, that I love connecting with. And millennials are loving this part, right? We were talking earlier before we got on this thing. I said, Aaron, we were talking about who are the first people that are going to come back. And if you think about it, in Florida, and you know, because it was national news in New Smyrna Beach, that spring breakers didn't care. They wanted a spring break, right? And I feel like, this is my opinion, I feel like the younger generation, millennials or younger, are going to start traveling first, because they know that they're not prone to getting that infection, or they don't have underlying health conditions, right? So I feel like we are going to be kind of marketing and messaging and servicing those kind of people, and we have to understand how they kind of do business with or how they live their life. And a lot of it has to do with texting. I love texting more than just getting a phone call. Now, a phone call from my best friend might be awesome, or a phone call from a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time is awesome, because that's still that hospitality, it's that customer service that you believe in, right? But this new generation wants to message. So guess what? There's two here. I have no affiliation again. Whistle and Hello Shift are two great examples of tools that your hotel can use right now to build that engagement, that customer service, that connection, that communication. Like, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much. If you need, is it okay if I send you a text in about 15, 20 minutes, just to make sure your room is perfect? And then you can send me a message back. If you need anything during your stay, we're happy to take care of you. How awesome is that? Instead of calling the front desk, using that nasty phone that you don't know if the hotel's sanitized, but just using your phone and texting. I need sheets, I need towels. What time is checkout? Where can I find this? I love that you can communicate just with your SMS text, right? There's no extra platform to download. I don't recommend all those things where people have to, you cause a barrier against the guests, right? I don't like those where you have to download an app and then you have to go use that app. I like it where you already have that guest and they already are used to texting. They're already used to WhatsApp, right? And some of these tools. You can even use Facebook Messenger right now, which is amazing. So if your hotel's connected to Facebook Messenger, there's a bunch of ways to connect your Facebook Messenger to connect and communicate with guests. And I love this. Guys, comment and let me know what messaging platform, if you're using one, in the comments, because I would love to learn how you're doing the communication part, the customer service part. This is all important when we talk about post-COVID and how to gain that customers' loyalty, because that's what we're really looking for. We're not just like a one-time thing where we want them to come back, just this one time, but we want them to continue coming back and telling people, and communication is going to be a huge part. So messaging is already the thing, but you're going to see a lot more of that. Right. All right. So I'm going to go back real quick just to make sure I covered everything. No, I did not. All right. So we talked about everything besides local favorites. Now, I love this, right? Now, a lot of times you have that concierge person or the front desk person offering local attractions, local guides, local things to do. And now you're like, you know what? We're limited staff, so we might not be able to answer the phone, or we don't want people to come back to the front desk and be really, close with the front desk. And we know we're trying to do social distancing and some of those things. And guests feel the same way, like, hey, I don't want to go to the front desk and be around other people, right? The lobbies might be closed or limited or spacing out, which I recommend. But then also there's this one thing, people still want to know what's going on in Orlando. What are the favorite things around SeaWorld? What are the favorite things in restaurants around, Universal or Disney? And your hotel can come up with the local favorites landing page, which is super easy to make. I can help you do that. It's actually really, really easy, right? But it's quickly come up with 10 things that your staff loves that you would love to talk about with guests, and then put it up on a website, right? That's awesome for service. Like Mr. Smith, if they text you saying, hey, what do you recommend? We've already anticipated your needs, and we've created a local favorites guide, and it could be online, and send them a QR code or send them a link. And that way they can go and see exactly what they were looking for. Because I don't want to be recommended like the Olive Garden when I come to Orlando. I want to know that local spot that the locals love. And that's true for any hotel market. People want to know what's good in that area. If you're going to the beach, like what's some seafood, right? What's your favorite pizza place, right? I don't want to go to Papa John's or Pizza Hut. I want to go to that local spot, right? And so we all know those local spots. Create a local favorites that increases your guest service, right? That's that experience that guests that want, that need, and they want. And you can make it super easy just by creating a quick landing page, right? I love that. Or send them to your website where you already have created this. I love that part, right? All right, so everybody with me so far? Comment, let me know if this has been helpful so far, because I know we're running over a little bit, and I appreciate you guys coming and staying on with me. All right, now this is a huge part of the service part of our business, right? We talk about service, we talk about we talked about during their stay, but guess what? We want to know and get feedback of how they enjoyed their stay, or if they did not. Guess what? We also want to know that, because a lot of hotels that I stay at, and I stay at hundreds of hotels, I always get the thing when I check out, if I'm dropping the key off or if I'm doing it digitally, it's always like, how was your stay? And I say, great, or it was good. And then I leave. There wasn't that one extra step that could say, Mr. Patel, how was your stay, and what's one thing that you would like us to improve? And I love that one question, that one extra question that can make the biggest difference when you talk about customer service. Guests are like, oh, these guys actually care. And they wanted to hear my problems, and they wanted to fix it, right? Most hotels think that if they hear the problems, or if the guests if you ask that question, they're just going to spill all these problems out. Yes, there are some guests that will do that to you. There we have those guests, right? Those guests. But for the most part, people want to be heard, and they also want to let you know what the problems are for the next person. Most guests that we ask that question, they're like, oh, we just wanted to let you know. We don't want a refund. They just wanted to be heard, right? And that's a great opportunity for you to fix their issue before they leave, and make sure they leave happy, right? And getting feedback post-stay or during their checkout process is huge. So make their checkout process super easy. Have a box of used keys. Have a box of new keys, so they understand that you are doing these things that are keeping them safe, right? I love that part of it too. I see it all over LinkedIn, where people have been really creative on the way they create these boxes, and it's awesome that you could do that. Now, if your hotel is digital and you go straight to your room, through Hilton or Marriott and one of these brands where you have that digital key on your phone already, great. You've done a great job. But then there's also that you didn't collect their feedback. You weren't able to. They left without even telling you if they had a problem in their room, right? And so this is an opportunity for you to make sure that you get their feedback, and then focus on reviews. Let's get right into it. All right. So asking feedback shows that your hotel actually cares, right? When's the last time when you were at a restaurant? It's been a while, right? It's been a while for me too. When you're at a restaurant, when a general manager or the manager comes by and says, hey, how was everything? Did you enjoy that pasta? Or how was your steak? And then they wait there. They don't just say, how was it? And then you're like, good. And then they leave. The person that actually cares waits there for you to actually talk, and they are listening, right? And that shows that your hotel cares a lot. And that goes along with the customer service experience. Providing that great, exceptional experience means a lot to guests right now, right? So show your hotel, your guests, that you care by asking for feedback, right? Going above and beyond. Now, they went home. They've just landed home there, or they've gotten home now. You want to share your appreciation with them, which is huge. I know a lot of hotels will write a custom card, thank you card. Hey, thank you so much for staying with us. We look forward to taking care of you and your family in the future, or next month, or you have that guest that stays with you all the time. Make them feel really special. Remember, we said low occupancy means high engagement, right? Go do those things for these few people that are staying with you. Make them feel like they're VIP. I guarantee you that's going to change the way they think about your hotel, and you're going to be the only choice for them in the future. Let me know if you've done this before, because it's powerful and it's emotional, right? We're pulling at people's emotions right now. We're talking about people that have been stuck in their house for 2 months, and they're so happy to get out. Make them feel really special, make them feel warmed and welcome, right? And I love that, right? All right, so the next thing is reviews. Now, if you weren't focused on reviews in the past, this is your opportunity to learn exactly what reviews mean for your hotel. And more than 90% of people out there are reading reviews for anything they buy. Guarantee you, if you bought something in the last 2 months on Amazon or a different website, you read reviews, right? And it's so important to this date and moving forward that the social reviews still matter, right? Expedia, hotels.com, all these different websites, booking.com, then your own personal brand page. TripAdvisor still a lot, but the biggest channel that I've seen and that a lot of companies have told me, especially Travel Media Group here, they've told me that Google is a huge factor in their reviews. So focus on reviews, but then not only ask for reviews, but guess what? Reply to every single good and bad one, right? That's a part of the whole journey of customer service. It's not just during their stay that most people think customer service is about. It's the whole cycle, right? Because you want them to come back. You want them to know that they were heard long after they were gone, and that you customized that response, right? So it's not just like, hey, thank you for staying. I read so many reviews and like, thanks for staying. We'll look forward to you soon. That doesn't mean anything. If I wrote a review about cookies, I want the hotel to talk about, hey, thank you so much for talking about our cookies. They're baked fresh every single day, or our brownies are baked fresh every single day by a passionate brownie maker that we call Tom or whatever, right? I love that you can customize each review response and make people feel really good. That's part of the customer service journey. All right, you guys with me? All right, so now we talked about the 3 steps, right? We talked about pre, we talked about during, we talked about post, right? We also need to know service is not canceled, right? So here's come up with a game plan on your service. If you're slow right now, come up with a game plan. Train. If you have the budget, go train. And we're doing this on Thursday. We're training the entire team. We're bringing people in. If you've received your PPP money, guess what? This is a perfect opportunity for you to spend that money on what it's made for is your people, right? Is to get your entire team on board, understand what happened. And here's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about and understand what people went through these last 2 months, right? It's powerful when you can get down to personal level and understand what struggles people went through, because it's not just, fun and games for a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people hurting out there. And if you can come together and inspire people and train them and teach them something, they will appreciate you more than anybody, because a lot of hotels still don't do this. So ongoing coaching and training is going to be huge. Following up with the stuff that we talked about, if it's with you or your team or the owner, or if you're the owner, the general managers, follow up and keep learning, because it's going to be a huge part of your growth and your success in this time and space, right? And then stay positive. This is what I do. I wake up every single day and I am positive that things are going to get better. And guess what? For my hotels in Daytona, they've gotten better. Guess what? For you, it's coming soon. And guess what? One thing I talked about when this all happened back in March, I said, one thing I'm not going to do is lay in bed and focus on the bad things, which I never do anyway. But I put that thing in my mind and said, listen, I'm going to wake up, take a shower every day. I'm going to put my shoes on. I'm going to put my shoes on every day. And if I'm home, I'm going to pretend like I am at work, because guess what? I'm going to be in that game set or that mindset where things are going to get better, and I'm going to be in that work mindset, right? If you're in your pajamas and working, it never works out. You want to get to the refrigerator like I've done a few times, but you're not in that mindset to keep staying positive, right? If you're in your pajamas. So that's one thing. You can offer service from your house, right? There's a lot of different things that I could share, probably on another conversation, but I'm happy to share more of these ideas with you guys. What did you think about this webinar so far? And the last thing I know I would get to is, remember I said 35,000 people have already viewed and downloaded this free checklist. And go ahead and get this checklist right now. It's rupesh.co/GM checklist. This is 51 things that you can do right now to improve yourself and improve the way your hotel is optimized right now when things are slow. Because guess what? Things are going to pick up. And I'm excited about that. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here. I appreciate you guys. I'm here to support you guys here locally. I live here. I want to support you guys. I can't wait to come stay at your hotel. I can't wait till the parks open back up because my kids are ready. And I appreciate this, guys. Definitely join me here on LinkedIn, or join me on LinkedIn at rupeshlive.com. And that also is a feed to my live event that I do every Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So definitely join me, guys. Thank you so much. And I think now we're going to get to questions.
Yes, if anybody has a question for Rupesh, if you can use the chat function, because we have quite a few of you online this morning, and then I will go ahead and ask Rupesh. And we have one initially, Rupesh, already from Susie Brady. Can you just tell the group which hotels that you own in Daytona?
Yeah, I own the Quality and Daytona Speedway. We're, for the last, let's say 5 or 7 years, we've been the #1 or #2 hotel in the market. And we just believe in customer service. We believe in offering a personalized, we're a small property, but we still believe in that touch point. And we're out of 1,500 Quality in the United States. We were in the running for the Hotel of the Year a few years ago, and we lost. And I cried at the convention, and my GM did too. But that didn't stop us from continuing, because once you get to the top, you have to stay there. And it's hard to compete with these brand new hotels that are opening up. My hotel's 40 years old. We don't have a pool. We don't have all these services that your hotel might, right? But we believe in these things I talked about today, and we use these tools and techniques to really make a difference in our hotel. So go look up my hotel, the Quality and Daytona Speedway. You'll see our reviews. You'll see our staff really taking care of people. And I welcome you guys to come, and I'll share some tips and ideas and strategies that we do. And it's small things that make a big difference. And it's just amazing to see that we can all share these ideas. And this is what I do every day. I'm passionate about this stuff. You can hear it in my voice. Thank you, Susie. I see a bunch of people are here online. Guys, thank you so much for the questions. Aaron, what else?
We have just a lot of great comments. Very beneficial. Love your passion and enthusiasm. Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, guys, a hard question. Yesterday, somebody asked me about cleaning on, Anthony Melchiori. I was on their show yesterday. I'm not sure if you know him from the Travel Channel. And he asked me a hard question. He caught me by surprise. He was like, hey, what do you think, and what do you do with your hotel's linen or your hotel's uniforms? And they're like, do you wash them for your hotel employees? I'm like, and then I froze for like a second, and I'm like, no, we don't have the budget to do that right now. And we were slow these past 3 months, and we never thought about that. So we've actually had a lot of our staff say, when I get home, I put all my stuff in a bag, I launder it separately, some of those things, right? And so I'm ready for a hard question, because I'll come up with something.
Okay, here we go. Again, thank you, Susie, for the questions. Rupesh, what are you doing for sanitizing your guest rooms right now?
Yeah, so right now we are pretty much doing the sprays and the cleaners that our Eagle Lab's providing us. This week we're coming together with a few companies to talk about different things. So right now there's the robots. I'm actually seeing the UV robots where they zap into the room. If you look them up, it's actually pretty cool, but I'm not sure if it works, right? We have the fogger. We have some of those things that a lot of hotels are considering using or have already used. We're coming to a game plan right now. There's so many different things out there right now. I've had like at least 15 or 20 people send me a message on LinkedIn saying, hey, for this one sanitizer that's going to help you, that's going to be the only sanitizer you'll ever need in your life. And I'm sure a lot of hotel owners and managers have seen the same thing, where you receive some message from somebody and saying, hey, we offer this solution. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the right thing. So we're collecting data right now and just understanding what actually works. And then, for us, we have branded hotels. We have Wyndham, Choice, and Hilton, and we have to kind of go by their guidelines too. So, Wyndham's come out with their own guidelines. Hilton's come out with their clean stay guidelines, and then I'm not sure if Choice has come out with theirs yet, but everybody's come out with something this past week or these past 2 weeks, and I'm excited to kind of put things together and then understand what your hotel needs. Now, if they're saying your hotel needs a robot, guess what? No one's going to go out there and spend $20,000 to go buy a robot, right? Especially right now. But if they're saying you can do these 2 or 3 different things, I like that option. I think there's going to be some opportunities for all of us to kind of understand what best fits our hotel and our size too, because there's hotels in Orlando that are 1,500 rooms, a couple thousand rooms, right? And they're going to do something different than the smaller hotels. They're going to do something that different than the mid-sized hotels that have a couple hundred rooms, right? Thanks for that question, Susan.
So Rupesh, with that question, does the spray or any of those chemicals ruin the chrome of the furniture? Someone's asking.
In the past, when we used it, it has not, but it really depends on where you bought it from, and where your furniture's from, and how old it is, and what the humidity in your room is. There's a lot of factors that go into using a chemical on the type of furniture you have. I couldn't. I'm not that expert that can answer those questions.
Okay. Next, we have, what would you do if someone is diagnosed with coronavirus during their stay at your property?
All right, so I got this question early on in March. I have 35,000 people plus that follow me on LinkedIn, and I had a bunch of those questions that came in, and they wanted specific things. Here's what I said. Here's what I recommended to them. It wasn't a guideline or anything like that. It's based on your hotel's policy, right? On who you're going to allow, because if you have, whoever, but it's also going to affect your PR. So I looked at it that way too. We allowed everybody to stay at our hotel, because guess what? They are there to maybe recover for 2 weeks. They're not going to party. They're not here to, there's a different type of guest that you understand that they're just there to party, and they're just there to cause trouble. Legitimately, there's somebody that came in and said, hey, I have COVID and I need to seclude myself from my family, and I want to do it at your hotel. I'll make sure that you're safe and I'm not walking to the lobby and you come up with guidelines. I think that's a great opportunity instead of just kicking somebody out to the curb. There were nurses that came and said, I need to go stay at a hotel because of what I do, and I don't want my family affected. There's a lot of doctors that have that same thing, right? So there was a lot of opportunities, and there still are. They're still out there. The healthcare community is still out there looking for hotels. I'm not sure if your hotels have received any of that business. The government still needs it, right? So it really depends on how you want to do it. For me, I would allow them to stay in my hotel and really take care of them, right?
Okay.
And then also do the sanitary stuff that you have to do to be safe, and everyone to be safe, and same with the staff, right? Good question.
And next we have, what are you doing to communicate your cleaning policies to your guests before and during their stay?
Right. So we talked about this earlier. Create a video. I mean, these are all things that we're coming up with as a game plan. Come up with a video. Let them understand like what you're doing. Show them. Walk them through. Like, here are the 10 things that we've done to make sure that you are safe at our hotel. Right. I love that you can use video to do that. Sorry, what was the other question?
Just what are you doing to communicate the cleaning policies before and during? So was that signage?
Signage on the door, signage in the rooms, letters in the rooms. You can even have it on if you have a system, you can even display it on your TVs in your rooms, right? I love that. Or send them to a direct landing page where they understand your policies for the hotel. You might have a quiet policy at night. Still explain that, because we've distanced ourselves in the lobbies. We're only selling every 6 rooms, or we're renting every other floor. Guests still need to understand, and that communication is going to be critical when you're talking about, we want our hotels to be filled up, but there's also that point of how much we're going to, sell, how many rooms we're going to sell, and how we're going to distance them.
Great. I'm going to use this as our last question, and this can kind of be a question for everyone if you want to chime in on the chat. Because we had Dwayne ask, are you taking associate temperatures or some other type of screening as associates arrive to work? So Rupesh, if you can answer to what you're doing, and then any other lodging general manager on the call, if you want to jot in there. I know Paul Schmidt answered whether you are doing the temperature checks, just so we get a feel of what's going on, or planning to. So Rupesh, I'll let you go.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, we're gonna probably put that into place. We haven't done that yet, where we take a temperature. We've explained to everybody since the start of this, if you feel sick, if you have any symptoms at all of being sick, please stay home. And we've enforced that with everybody. We've repeated that many times. So our staff already understands that. Luckily, for the last 2 months, we've all been safe. Nobody's contracted the virus. And we've had guests. We actually had a work group, a huge work group, workers stay at our hotel, and some of them, contracted it. So we had to go back and make sure that everybody was safe, and some of those things. And luckily for us, we are wearing masks, wearing gloves, keeping safe, washing things separately. So all those that they told us they were infected, we actually washed them. But here's a tip that I learned early on. Make sure that every guest that walks into your door might have, or have that mindset of every guest that walks in your door, they might have coronavirus, they might have that COVID virus, and then you have to be safe. What would you do? You don't know, right? People are walking around symptom free. What are you doing right now to make sure that you're safe, other guests are safe, and your staff is safe, right? And you have to know that this person walking into your door that you're connecting with, right? That's why I love that messaging part. that you are, that they might have it. And so how are you staying safe from them, and how are you keeping them safe, right? That's also another thing. So that was something that somebody taught me early on a couple months ago. We're like, pretend everybody has coronavirus, pretend everybody is sick, and what are you going to do in that position, right? That's not to scare everybody, but that you come up to a different mindset when you think of that way.
Okay, thank you. And then Lisa from Advent Health did enter in the chat box that they are able to assist with those on-site temperature checks if anybody wants to jot down Lisa's information and reach out to her. And with that, again, we just want to thank Rupesh for his time today. If we can all give a silent round of applause since you're all muted.
I wish you were here. I could give you some candy bars.
So
guys,
again,
so
Rupesh, thank you. If anybody needs to connect with Rupesh, reach out to him directly. And we look forward to seeing everybody soon, if not at the happy hour on Thursday. Have a great Tuesday.